Okay. All right, everybody. So, stream's already being naughty. It's doing bad things. It's dropping frames. I can see it. Don't think I don't see it. I see it. I know it. I know it's getting. Come on, bear with us, stream. Come on, OBS. Come on, do your job. Do your job. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. How many times have we started a stream with those words? Good Lord. I don't know. How's it looking on everybody else's end? Am I jumping around? Is it laggy? You forgot you had the stream open. Sorry about that. Sorry to surprise. Sometimes I can be a bit sudden. I scare my wife all the time walking around. She says I'm too quiet. Rolo Kip, how you doing? Angelio, good to see you. Some dude. Vorbear Robot. Skippy, as always. Hello. Rolo Kip. I already said hi to you. I can't say hi twice. No, I'm kidding. I could say hi twice. It is a little bit laggy. Okay. Here's what we're going to do then. Because this definitely having some bitrate issues for some reason. I have no idea why. Why would we be having bitrate issues? Let me... Ah, geez. I don't have a keyboard for this computer, so now I have to figure out how I can type in 3000 without plugging in my other keyboard. Nope, I think I'm gonna have to go get the keyboard. Unless, are we running better now? Come on. I can't even see the stream. Okay, I'm seeing green. Green is good. Nope, now I see yellow. As soon as I missed it. As soon as I open my mouth, it switches over. But anyways, we're gonna keep going. Hopefully it's not gonna keep lagging, but I'll keep an eye on it. Let me know. You guys let me know how it's doing. I am going to have a good old time today because it is once again our monthly report overview. We're doing a little in-depth look. So every second week of every month, sometimes it's the first. No, it's always the second week. Sometimes it's like, no, it's always the second week. Second week of every month, I put out a monthly report video that kind of goes over what you're seeing here, all up here, and summarizes it with the coolest bits of the latest development in Star Citizen, because there's a lot of stuff that they put out there, but honestly, it's kind of a drag to go through all of it. So I like to summarize it for all you out there. But for us super nerds, ultra citizens, us Pico lovers, I like to do these little in-depth looks at it where we read each sentence, talk about it, look at some examples if I do have it in my archive, and go over some of the stuff that's happening. I think this is a great way to keep up with the development of the game, to understand what they're focusing on, what they're doing. And it's also just kind of chill. You smell me? How's everybody doing though? Axis, I saw you dropped a sub there. Thank you so much. 5 months now. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for that tier 1. Yeah, let's get it, Jake. This month, I'm gonna come out and say it right now, this month is not one of the most exciting months. So if you're expecting it to be a blockbuster of a show today, it still will be. But it's not gonna be the most interesting. They do talk about some interesting stuff, I will admit. Engineering gameplay is pretty cool, some location stuff, some AI stuff. It's all good. But it's not as good as, say, April's monthly report. How's everybody doing today, though? How are you all? Are we still dropping frames? All right, you know what? Hold on. I gotta move my keyboard. I currently only have one English keyboard here between 2 computers, so I have to switch it between the computers while I am trying to type stuff in the other computer. Let's try to drop this bit rate down for now. I can't imagine it would... I don't think I can go much lower than this. This must be an internet problem. That doesn't make much sense. Let's see if that helps. Let's give that a couple minutes, see if it helps. If it doesn't, I might have to drop one of the feeds. This is, of course, another problem. No reason why it should be happening, but it is. Morph just got confronted by a dude watching his stream. Ah. That's fun. What's up, iPrince? Cryogenic? What's up? Moon, how's it going? Alrighty. What are we doing? What are we doing? Still dropping 40% of our frames. God. Oh my gosh. I can't stand this part of this job. Just smooth out. Just let us have some fun today. Let us stream, huh? Let us talk. Okay, let me try and change this number. I'm just gonna keep troubleshooting until I can get this fixed for you guys. Sorry for everybody who's here for interesting content. We're lacking it a little bit now. Has anybody been playing Star Citizen though? Is there any interesting content in the game, or is it just kind of everybody waiting for the wipe, for the update? All right, that has pushed. It doesn't make sense. Why would this be struggling so much? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I get the feeling that I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to run a test stream every day of every week. Not too bad on YouTube. Waiting for the wipe. Racing is interesting, but you're biased. Have you been racing? Using that new, No, I don't think there's anything I can do. I think we're just, we're stuck with a crappy stream today. Maybe I might actually restart the whole stream, guys. I might just restart my computers and see if that works. There's not much else I can do. Is it unwatchable? Can you guys let me know? Just waiting for the wipe. Exploring a little. Anybody gotten to use the use that new racetrack that came out? No, the bitrate's not too high. I just lowered it all the way down to 2000. Still having the same problems. Mostly just watching racing. Still trying to get your hands and old hands, new controls working. Oh, that's always rough. It's alright on YouTube, doesn't drop off now. You freeze every 2 seconds for half a second. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Yeah, stream is messed up again. I'm on restream. It's not working. On Twitch, I freeze every few seconds. No, we can't do that right now. Every few seconds it's streaming, it's freezing. Dropping a lot of frames. All right. You know what? We've got 7 people watching on Twitch and like 70 people watching on YouTube. Seems like YouTube is consistently the place that is working, so I think I'm going to go ahead and turn off Twitch. Except now I have to... Fuck. I'm going to have to end the whole stream. Alright, I'm going to end the whole stream, and I will be back live on YouTube in a couple minutes. I'll see you guys in a bit. Oh, wait. Wait for it. I'm seeing... I don't want to open my mouth. Crap. I opened my mouth and it went bad. I was seeing consistent green there 5,000 plus kilobits. It was looking good. And then I said something and it looks like it went back down. And I don't know. It looks like we might actually be sticking to something reasonable. Good Lord. I hate OBS so much. God. That's too bad. I guess I'll just keep it going. Let me know, guys, on Twitch if it's getting bad. I can't check the bandwidth with the testing website because I got to stream live. So it would just tank the stream and not give me the proper statistics. Someone must be stealing the interwebs. Probably. YouTube's definitely freezing. Yeah, luckily it's just for the words. That actually reminds me. So I have this weird dog problem going on where my dog keeps getting out of the yard. But today we got back from breakfast and he was in the next door neighbor's yard and his chain was completely cleanly disconnected. It's connected by carabiners, metal carabiners. His chain was disconnected. He was in the other yard, which is somewhere we found him getting into before multiple times. And he would not come back to us. So we assumed that he had just like gotten out. Can't watch this? Is it that bad? Jeez, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I love getting put in these situations by the streaming software. It's like the least anxiety-filled part of my life. No anxiety whatsoever. Can I turn off Twitch without ending the stream? You can turn off YouTube streams without ending the stream. I don't think you can do it on Twitch. Which, no anxiety whatsoever. Leaves us in an awkward situation. All right, I'm gonna end the whole stream. I'll be back in a couple minutes. I don't even know if we're live. Are we? Can anybody see me? Okay, cool. I think I see myself. Great. Fantastic start to the show. And it looks like I'm still having bitrate problems. All right, guys. If I can't get this to work, then... yeah, I don't know. There must be, something must be going on. Give me 1 second. Let me check the rest of the house. Alright, nothing in the rest of the house. Although it does seem like it's stable right now. And I open my mouth, now it's not stable again. I don't know. I don't know what the heck is going on, to be honest, guys. You thought you had issues with OBS and cam links. Dude, I have issues every single day with this stuff. This is the stuff that's gonna make me quit, to be honest. It's, God, it's so freaking annoying. Okay. It's telling me it's stable. So let's actually do something. Okay. All right. AI content. And my keyboard's still connected to the other computer. And the camera's down. If you guys couldn't tell, streaming is my favorite part of the job. Okay. Thank you, Visper, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good day, and all you people too. I hope you can get your stream to work better soon. Ha. Stream working? What does that mean? All right, let's start going over this crap. At the very least, I can talk about Star Citizen, and that'll at least be interesting. Hold up, camera's in the wrong place. A little bit up. Okay. Back to Star Citizen. Something that does work all the time. AI content. In June, a new narrative-focused AI designer joined the team and began improving the current shopkeeper behavior by expanding the variety of voices and dialogue. We've heard about this, right? With the... What is it called? The coffee vendor. That was like another onboarding thing, right? So the AI stuff and all these behaviors and stuff they've been doing have been just constant for a long time. All the way back to this is 2018. Pretty sure this is a previs, but this was one of the testing things that they were doing for AI behavior. So on the left, you have somebody who's a little more trained. On the right, you have somebody who's just not trained at all. And you can tell the difference between them. And then they bring in these other guys who are actually full-on professional military, and you can tell the difference. Talk about AI behaviors. This is kind of what they're talking about, the difference between the various AI. And I think they were talking about shopkeepers here. So we had a couple videos of shopkeepers. It doesn't play any sound. Yalamo. Gotta love Windows video player. Actually, I think I did just hear sound. Why can't I see the top of OBS? What is going on? What's going on? You just wanted to ask about jump travel mechanics? Jump? Like quantum jumping? Okay, so I seem to not be able to do anything with my OBS anymore. This is insane. This software is literally insane. This is the worst, some of the worst software I think I've ever used. How is the stream looking? I can't check it anymore. I've now been cut off. System jump? Oh, system jumping they haven't really talked too much about yet. They're still working on that. They've shown us an example, but they haven't talked about any of the actual dynamics of it, other than the fact that you have to kind of stay inside. It'll be like you're going down a river. You get swept along through this wormhole, but you still kind of have to guide yourself. That's all we know so far. The AI is placeholder that they've been working on for these shopkeepers until the team finished converting the bartender to support different shop types, including food, clothing, and weapons. So, like they used to talk about the bartender being the template, it sounds like they're eventually, or at least getting close to, moving that template over to some of the other things like clothing and weapons shop vendors. Further progress was also made on the dynamic conversations mentioned in previous reports. We've talked a lot about that the last few months. The team also set up the leisure behavior AI to use the Mobiglass from different usables. Basically, they were unconvincing the animations before, so they want to set them up so that they look better. Just Mobiglass animations, I mean. It's great, but I was just playing Mass Effect the other day and the screen just didn't even move when they were talking about using them. No problem, Josh. Good evening, Crouch. How are you doing? Hope you're all well. We are all well, but OBS is being an absolute dick. Okay, AI tech, where the meat of the AI development goes on. One of AI Tech's focuses in June was optimizing and improving Alpha 317.2. This involved adding functionality for the planetary nav mesh and AI reinforcement features. So we've started seeing this already in the PTU. Anybody who's gotten to play, it's basically just AI moving around on planets and using the navigation meshes. This is the first iteration of the nav mesh and reinforcement features, but we are extremely proud and excited to see them available to you all. They're not great in the PTU. They don't really actually happen. We went out, in fact, all of you who were on the stream last time, on Monday, we went out and tried to find some, and we just could not make it spawn. So they're definitely still working on that. And I think it'll be a few more updates until it's super reliable. Hey, Reese. Alrighty. Work continued on the locomotion code. This included improving the transitions between different locomotion states by further developing the initial implementation of pose matching. They also implemented linear speed warping, including a way to dynamically calculate a spline into specific pose. For example, the enter position of a usable. This allows the team to make the transition between movement and interactive objects smoother and more believable. They also began improving and fixing idle steps, which are special animations used for extremely short paths. This is a bigger deal than it sounds for one key reason, and that's getting in and out of ships. They said a long time ago, I want to say like 2017, 2018, they made a very big deal about the fact that they were going to allow these animations to for us to run through these animations at different speeds. So if you're getting shot, like your ship's getting exploded and you're trying to get into it to take off, your guy doesn't just pop open the hatch, look at his watch, climb up the ladder, lean back and get the door. You can actually get into the ship faster. I think this is part of that effort. I think allowing for these animations to pose match is part of making them run a little more modularly. Modular? I don't know. I think this is kind of breaking them up into their separate parts so that the animations can run differently than how they've been running, and we might be able to move through them in different speeds or different positions. So another example of this would be if you were vaulting over a small obstacle. If that obstacle is the width of a desk, you have your basic animation, but if it's the width of 2 desks, then they need to stretch that animation and make sure it still looks naturally. And this is part of that. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Are you guys seeing any problems on your side? Why are you doing this today? What the heck? Why would it not be receiving enough video? 5,000 bits, you're good. It is skipping a bit. Man, what the I don't know. Can we get things like HUD dimming? Hopefully they're just working on a rework of it. We'll get HUD dimming for sure. Twitch is offline on your screen. Yeah, I can't run both, it seems, so. Could it, I don't know. Skippy, I'm using Restream. I paid for this service because the other one wasn't working, and now it seems this one's not working, so that's good wasted money. Super happy. Let's see. For 3D navigation, the team improved the implementation of Orca 3D for collision avoidance and continued to develop brake splines. Brake splines can be dynamically attached to the systemic movement of an entity that uses 3D movement. You know what? I think I might actually have some video on that. Yeah, so this is This is a little bit of this. They showed this off last year. They were working on it, basically just showing how an AI is now learning. We, believe it or not, we've never seen AI like doing their own EVA stuff. I thought it was crazy, but then I thought about it and I was like, no, they actually never do EVA stuff. So this will be nice. It'll be nice to actually have some AI to fight in zero G. YouTube also has a ton of issues with streaming in real time. I had a Premiere that didn't run like it should. Yay, YouTube. Good job. It was counting time differently. 1 second in the video is 3 in real time. Video is a bit choppy. All right. Unfortunately, that sucks for these video segments. But yeah, what this is in the background is the 3D spline mapping, I think, for AI that they were showing off last year. You find enemies in EVA by your ship when doing the 8-9. You're right, Ruby. You're right. That's the one time that they can do the EVA stuff. Good job, AI. You figured it out. Just a glitch you need to do. For trolley use, the team focused on tasks to allow an NPC using a usable to be dynamically attached to another usable. They also supported the trolley lightweight update and tweaked path following to allow it to minimize the distance of the trolley from the path. So these are important because trolleys are actually going to be used for moving cargo back and forth. Again, another chance that they could have to talk about the cargo refactor, but for some reason they don't. And I honestly, I'm baffled as to why at this point they're not telling us anything about the cargo refactor. We're like 2, maybe 3 months away from seeing the effects of it. At least that's what I'm expecting in the PTU. So this continues to be weird. But basically they're talking about this kind of movement on the AI side. Allowing AI to be able to pick up a box, put it on a trolley, move that trolley from a designated parking spot over to your ship. And of course, the other side of it, taking the boxes off of the trolley and loading them onto your ship. This won't be available for the cargo refactor, of course. At least I highly doubt it. But it is going to be at some point. On the subsumption side, multiple tool aspects were upgraded and bugs were fixed to move development into the improvement phase. A new panel was also added to give an advanced selection of parameters when the drop-down menu becomes too large. And subsumption is your AI logic in this game. A lot of you are hearing... It's like deja vu. You hear some of this stuff every month, but after a while you start to remember it and you get pretty good at reciting it. So subsumption is kind of like if this then that. If this then that. Yeah, did I say an extra word there? If this then that for AI in the game. I'm not sure if this is an industry-wide standard term or if CIG decided to call it this, but it is what it is. And it looks kind of like this, or at least it looked kind of like this back in 2018. Oops. I don't have the year. Whenever. 2018, yeah. So you can see that it's like, it has a task. That task has choices. You follow that choice based on what you take and continue on like that. And this is what all of the AI who are subsumption based will follow in the game. And you hear that talk, if you listen to my recent quantum economy video, you hear that kind of talk when Tony Z comes on the camera and starts talking about virtual AI, starts talking about quantum AI, and talks about what's it called? Well, all those systems. Sorry. Quantum AI, virtual AI, and subsumption AI. These are what he's talking about. Part of the basics of programming, yeah. That's the idea behind it, at least. If-then loops. I'm not going to assume that these are as simple as if-then loops, but... Pretty cool how you got all these older clips all organized. Great to reference stuff. It is. I wish I could go back more in time, but we keep getting more footage and I can never go back. All right, vehicle features. In June, AI vehicle features enabled the AI to control different ship modes. For example, this allows NPCs to switch to the correct mode when quantum jumping or using missiles. That's pretty cool. That's going to be useful. Obviously, we'd like to see AI quantum jumping, entering landing mode, entering scanning mode, probably EMP mode, all these different things that we use, they're supposed to use as well. Animation says, throughout June, the facial animation team worked on outlaw characters, rescue and transport missions, AI bartenders, and player emotes. They also supported Pyro with motion capture alongside the narrative team. Regarding mocap, the new studio is progressing well with the truss being completed. The team are currently setting up the cameras, computers, and other equipment. Yeah, they're building a massive mocap studio for this game, or for the company. It's obviously going to be for more games than this. But wow, it's going to be a lot. Now, some of the other things they mentioned here, they mentioned outlaw characters, which I believe we should have some references here to see what kind of stuff that it requires. Unfortunately, this all loads off of my NAS, so it's actually pretty slow to load. But here's some outlaw kind of themed stuff, colonial stuff. Obviously, it looks a little less official. Honestly, these actually look pretty official. These look great. How about this stuff? No, these all look great. But they're definitely kind of ragtag. I'll say that much. They're not like Hurston armor or something. And this is the kind of stuff you'll see people wearing in Pyro a lot of the time. Every system's going to have its own style. Outside of that style, it will have its own types. Luxurious, utilitarian, exploration, stuff like that. So you'll be able to go to different systems and see people wearing clothes from other systems, both players and AI, and know a little bit about them, which I think is really cool. Did I close Chrome? How'd I do that? I don't understand what's going on with connectivity. I really don't get it. There's not really any reason why I should be having so many internet problems. There's not. There's not. Hardwired in. I'm sorry about that, guys. Seriously. YouTube channel memberships means more frames. Okay, let's go to art. So on the characters art side, June saw the character art team further develop the frontier outfits and look at that. Begin work on high fashion clothes for Stanton. That's what I was talking about. They're also creating new outfits for various upcoming events and promotions. You know, I might have some of the high class outfits here. Maybe. Those came at a weird time. No, I don't think I do. Here's kind of some of the stuff. This is like some of Microtech's more casual, I guess, high class clothes. Like very casual stuff. This is like, you know, I guess for like running around. It's like exercise outfits, but you can tell that this style is way different from anything else in the game. And that's kind of what they're talking about here. You have a membership, Marquez? Thank you. Everybody who has a YouTube channel membership is my favorite. That is, besides Patreon, that is the most reliable way we know we have a living. Because the YouTube channel memberships help a lot to even out the ad revenue. Ad revenue is like, forget it. Art ships. Last month, the UK-based ship art team continued developing the Banu Merchantman's exterior. Significant progress was made towards finalizing the larger forms as well as figuring out some of the finer details, such as intake design, decorative patterns, and the cargo ramp. Have you guys seen? Have you seen this ship? Have you freaking seen the Banu Merchantman? Because this thing is stupidly, it's a crazy ship. Like, if you told me, hey, we're gonna make this game and this is the idea for the ship we're gonna have, I'd be like, don't make that ship. Don't do that. That's gonna be too hard. I still believe this ship is too hard to do, but at the very least, it is probably the most beautiful spaceship I've ever seen in a video game. Not necessarily because of its design, just because there's so much in it. There's so much has gone into making it look detailed and extravagant. And I don't know. Let's see, go by date. This is the problem with searching from my NAS, is I can't search by name. So I just have to scroll. But I don't think I have the Banu Merchantman footage saved in this folder. That's weird. Really should be here. That's very weird. But yeah, it's looking great. I'm sure I've got a couple pictures of it here. It's going to be concept art from this folder, but still pretty cool stuff. This is like the cargo bay. You can see that the details of it are way different from any of the human stuff. Oops. Let's see. It's got crazy animations and stuff going on. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Here it is with color. Use Adobe Bridge, it's better. I hate Adobe Bridge so much. But also, I don't know if it's gonna... Maybe that would work. The thing is, I'm using my NAS, so I don't... Unless the Adobe Bridge is just mirroring what's happening here, I don't want to add any latency to that. Why do I keep closing Chrome? The turret room is a huge waste of space. But if it's not used for anything else, why would it be a waste of space? The thing they keep trying to push, it seems, with the Banu ships is the very fact that the Banu do not value space. They, like, if you look at all of these pictures, absolutely nothing in this ship is made to normal scale. It seems like the point of the ship is that they're using a lot of space because that's what makes it feel extravagant, epic, and larger than life. I don't think this is a ship that's necessarily going for efficiency. In fact, this is the old size and this is the new. They made it bigger without adding more besides the hangar. All the memes. I think the memes are a little overboard. I'm interested to see how it turns out looking, but from what I've heard, it doesn't look that much different than it used to. Although it does look a little bit like it's thicker in this than it was in the new videos they were showing. You think the wingtips need something, just not a flat cut-off look? Here's some ball turrets. The Banu are taller than humans. True. They got to lay down everywhere they can. Still don't like that front. That's fair, although this was the this is the old front. This is from last year. I don't know if it's changed. I guess it went from being kind of squared off to rounded. I guess it's kind of hard to tell. Looks like it was definitely more angular. These wings were pitched forward a little bit more. There were more bends in the curve here. And it was definitely... Actually, I don't know if it was skinnier. But the nose was more angular too. Just a little bit. Nose is super pointy like a spear. Well, I'm trying not to compare it to the concept art since this is what they were working with. Like, this is the actual model. The concept art's just some artist's rendition of it, right? This was the actual model that CIG wanted to use. So I feel like this is probably the best comparison. Whoops. But anyways, that's something that they've been working on in the art side of things. The team also progressed with final art passed on an unannounced vehicle, probably the Anvil Centurion, if you haven't seen it yet, which should be wrapped up this month. Remaining tasks include polish before the LOD and damage passes. Work on the Argo SRV moved into the gray box phase. On the exterior, the team completed the hull, cargo lift, and entrance lift and made significant progress on the nacelles and landing gear. Inside, gray boxing continued for the cockpit, seat, and dash. Let me introduce you to the wonderful, wonderful world of Argo SRV, because this ship is dope. This is a hot ship. This is our tugboat. Where is it, though? Do I only have concept art of this thing? Let's see. There's gotta be something. Super organized with my concept art. Also, everything takes so long to load off this thing. For reference, it's a hard disk drive connected by an Ethernet cable, so I don't blame it for taking a long time. Just wish it wouldn't take so long. Seriously, where's my SRV pictures? Everything is like organized by not how I normally organize stuff. Here we go. Hopefully Expanse won't take too long. Yeah, that'd be nice if refining worked like next year. That'd be great if we got engineering, refining, salvaging, repairing, refueling all in a year of each other or so. That'd be exceptional. As long as they had the missions to match, right? They can't keep adding this gameplay without adding missions for it. Here we go. So here's the SRV. It only took like 5 minutes to find. But this is a really cool ship as well. It's got this giant tractor beam on the back with supporting tractor beams around it. And it can basically haul anything from ground vehicles to crates to other ships. The cool part about it is another cool part about the rest of this game. The heck? Did you just shut me off from my picture? The cool part about it is the same thing that is really cool about a lot of the other game. It's all systemic. So they're not just going to say, these are the things that you can apply the tractor beam to lift up. These are the things you can't. They are going to allow any people to just tractor beam stuff and see what they can pick up. So I remember reading the Q&A. I don't quite remember exactly what they said, but they were giving the idea of... Oh, yeah. So, for instance, asteroids. They have mass, and they're interactable. As long as it's interactable, the SRV can haul it. So technically, when the SRV comes out, you should be able to move around mineable asteroids, possibly grouping them up together or taking them somewhere else to be mined. But a really cool idea that you would be able to interact with something as novel as an asteroid with a tractor beam. I kind of find myself wondering if you can make it a weapon and like fling it at people. Just throwing asteroids at each other. What's that dude's face called? Name? Style? What's his name? I can't remember. Expanse guy. Yeah, it just goes by weight. I can't find any more pictures. Here's one. Here's one. You can see it hauling a constellation. Two of them together hauling a constellation. Give an idea of their weight limit. At some point you have to bring in friends to help. Probably won't work for directly static objects like vending machines. I don't know past asteroids. That's just the example they gave. And they just talked about interactive items, so it could go anywhere. Marco Inaros, that's it. That's the name. Development of another unannounced ship continued, which is currently in the gray box. June's focus was on the landing gear, exterior doors, cockpit, dash, and pilot seat, so that's probably an unannounced ship coming early next year, I would say, if it's in gray box. But that depends on how big it is. Maybe it's just the X1, the Origin X1, and they can finish it by next update. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on this in terms of art, see what kind of a ship it's turning out to be, see how fast they're progressing through it, and check back next month. On the community side of things, I don't really cover these things that much, but there is a pretty interesting little snippet down here at the bottom, so we'll read through that. First, they mention the upcoming new community hub. The community hub right now on this website is awful, to tell you the truth. It's not useful, really. I mean, it is kind of useful if you want to see what's being posted. But other than that, if you start scrolling down, like right here, they have the ship showdown with a direct link to last year's page. Is this last year's page? It was last year's page. Yeah, last year's page, ship showdown. So like, it's cool that they're archived, but this also is just, it shouldn't be here. I don't think this is really necessary to have here. They have live streams, which is cool. They have staff picks of stuff, which is cool. Podcasts, which is cool. But all of this stuff is updated very weirdly. And to be honest, I don't think this page is really useful. I never go here. I don't think many people really ever go here, which is why they're redoing it. So it's great to hear that they are redoing it, but I'm also really curious about where they're aiming. In fact, if you go all the way to the bottom, they mention, where do they mention? They say, we can't wait to release this into the wild, as it will act as the place to be if you want to feel the pulse of the Star Citizen community. Now, I personally felt like that title would go to the Star Citizen Refund subreddit, because they know what's up, right? They're on top of the game. They understand the things that are going on. They got their finger on the pulse. That's where you go for good news. Don't actually go there if you want to sleep at night. But really, they're talking this thing up, this new community hub. So I'm interested in seeing what that is. I hope it is actually useful for the community, especially like newcomers coming in and being able to just hop into this page and get everything they need. That's what we need. So I hope that's what this is. Moving on from that, though, the team has also been hard at work planning and expecting all plans related to CitizenCon and the road to 4.0, which, as mentioned in the last letter from the chairman, will present regular 4.0 related content between now and the release of 4.0. They're currently expecting to roll this out in September. This is pretty cool. This is, you know what this reminds me of? Now, I know CIG is like, at least for me, they're the OGs of dropping regular dev updates for their games, but this reminds me of the Cyberpunk 2077. I think they called it Livewire or something like that. Their little shows, they did one every 2 months, I think, for the development progress on Cyberpunk. And I'll tell you what I learned from that is I don't like that they split it up into subjects. I think I prefer if they did all the same subjects and showed us how they were progressing over that time. I think with Cyberpunk that might not have been as interesting because they were just bug fixing. But for us, for 4.0, I think they should continue to touch on the different aspects of what's coming in 4.0. Even, yes, probably the pillars, right? If they said every month we're going to give you an update on how quantum, server meshing, Vulkan support, the actual Pyro system, and AI development are all going every month from now until 4.0. That's crazy. It's off the cuff. I don't even know if it's realistic, but like, that's what I'm hoping for. I don't want it to just be, all right, now we're going to touch on the planets of Pyro, and then we just have like a video of the planets for a month. I think something more substantial and more varied than that would be nice. But we'll see. This is coming or starting in September, and it's nice to know that it's going to be a monthly update on 4.0, which is a very important update. Reminds me of the lead up to 3.0 kind of, with the burn down and all that stuff. I hope this does not take the place though of any existing content. If they use this, if they take up half an episode of ISC with this, I'm going to be a little bit annoyed, because ISC should definitely not be about 4.0 right now. It should be about 3.18 and a potential 3.19. The community team also continues to provide gameplay training for incoming new hire staff. That must be fun. Finally, the team has been deep diving more options for incentivization related to the PTU in the short term, with a much broader variety of incentives in the mid to long term. So they want to reward people for being in the PTU, for testing. which I guess is going to get much more important with these next couple big updates going on. It's interesting, though. I wonder why they would feel the need to incentivize the PTU in the short term. I feel like the incentivization for the PTU in the short term is just getting to check out new features. But that's cool. It's nice. I hope it's worthwhile incentivization. Incentivization. All right. Downside is the PTU is so unstable and always crash the desktop. PTU can get pretty unstable. It can also be very stable. We've definitely had updates where the PTU was more stable than the live was when it came out. All right, so engine, and that might be because of the population of the PTU. Engine, the engine section is, it hurts me in ways I'm sure all of you would understand. I don't know most of what's going on in this section, so for the most part, I'm just gonna read this. I'll put in a comment or two if I recognize anything, but I'm just gonna read this out loud for you. In June, the physics team made several improvements to Ray World intersections, which now contains a semi-continuous mode to trace against rigid bodies. This makes projectile intersection tests more robust with fast-moving ships. I take this to mean that they are improving the way vectors interact with ships, so that they can more accurately define where vectors are actually intersecting ships. That's what I take it to mean, which would help with like guns and lasers and other ships, I guess. Collisions in general. The tiling of dense SDFs at signed distance fields was introduced, and signed distance field coordinate conversion and trilinear interpolation were optimized. Support for player-only collision geometry nodes inside of CGFs and CGAs was fixed and extended, while work on the new ropes continued. Ropes! Various bug fixes and other improvements were submitted too. I've told you all about my theory about ropes, right? That we're going to get bondage gameplay. No, I'm kidding. That we're going to get the ability to rappel. I know I've showed the clip here before, but I also know that it was very difficult to find, so I won't spend too much time looking for it. But I have a theory that these ropes are eventually, maybe not in the first iteration, but at some point going to allow us to tie off and descend into or ascend out of areas like caves. Although, you know what? Yeah, I don't think it's in here. I don't know where I left that clip, but I really need to find it and save it somewhere where I can remember. Because this is just features. Funny thing is I even remember what I named it. But, well, let me check my actual hard drive, and let's see if maybe I do have it on my... Oh, look at that! I have it locally! That's so nice. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Zip lines would be cool, yeah. Do we know when the Merchantman will be released? No, probably not till early next year. So they've very clearly teased in engine somebody hanging from a rope and rappelling into a cave. So, I mean, obviously we can't take everything they say as law, but the fact that they have shown us this and have also shown us other examples of this and are now starting to talk about it in the monthly reports. Monthly reports are key. That means that it might actually be realistic. So hopefully, I would love it because I freaking hate not being able to like get different places. I hate not being able to climb up out of caves. Alien Week 2023. I don't know. Are ropes very alien? Don't need ropes if we have jetpacks. But what if you run out of jetpack fuel? That sucks. No jetpacks, no fun. No fun, no love. All right. On the renderer side of things, because we love rendering, The Gen 12 transition continued with more passes being ported over, including responsive AA and decal rendering in the forward stage. That old forward stage. The processing of scattering queries was reworked and a debug UI was added for them too. Buffer copying of sun shadow cascades was ported as well. The format of the previous HDR frame has been adjusted to be more efficient and the cleanup of the render thread began. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you all this. I have no freaking clue what I just read, right? The Gen 12 renderer is important, super important. And people deserve to understand it at least a little bit. Even if that means getting what we already have heard explained to us, right? I always try and give my 2 cents on this stuff, but I just honestly, I don't know what the heck they're talking about. So instead of trying to drone through Gen 12 or explain Gen 12 stuff, I will invite everybody to come to my stream on Saturday because I will be playing some Star Citizen with one of the engineers who is building Gen 12. And while it won't be, we're not going to be talking about this stuff. I'm not going to grill him and ask him a bunch of questions about this because we're getting together to play the game. But if it does come up, it's nice and it probably will offer a chance for me to at least get some clarification on Gen 12 stuff. So if you are interested in learning about rendering, about improving the frame rates of this game, the optimization, making the game just run better in general, that might be an interesting stream to come check out. That's our Saturday stream this week. And even though I said I don't understand what it is, I'm going to continue anyways. The Gen 12 ports of atmospheric and volumetric cloud rendering continued as a generalized processing context, and new stages to decouple view-dependent resources from the core systems that operate on them have been introduced. The atmosphere shader code was adjusted to compile well with DXC and SPEAR-V. Various improvements were made to prevent concurrency issues when streaming in properties of multiple planets at the same time and relaying them to the atmosphere and cloud rendering systems. Again, they don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Thank you for mentioning that, Josh. The Corsair wasn't mentioned in the ship art this month. I think they left a few ships out of this section this month because we know there's more stuff being worked on than this. But who knows? When are they going to achieve the stretch goals of pets? I don't think the rendering engine people will know much about that, unfortunately. On the core engine, entity areas now utilize tags to track which entities/areas events send to each other. This replaces the hidden hierarchy logic that caused various issues and allows for more efficient code. Working on running the entire code base through include what you see continued. What is, okay. The goal is to eventually make include what you see part of the continuous integration pipeline to build clean code. Furthermore, a recent integration into the main development branch saw the introduction of the SIG-STL EA-STL namespace, which is planned to become a customizable STL library for Star Engine. Star Engine is what they're calling the engine that builds this game. Many people know that they used what is essentially CryEngine right when it branched off to become Lumberyard, but ever since then they've been building a lot of stuff into this engine on their own. That's why we get these engine segments, and Star Engine is kind of the unofficial word for what they call it. I think it's going to be, once the game comes out, known as officially Star Engine. Oh yeah, I'm totally a CIG employee. I wish they would just pay me more. I'm not. Please don't take that seriously. A short version of what you read is they improved the code and made it more stable. There you go. Let's just replace the whole engine segment. All right, on to features. These are usually the pretty fun segments of these reports. The Arena Commander features team fixed issues and added quality of life improvements to both the Arena Commander and Star Marine modules. Improvements were also made to the implementation of doors, controllers, and elevators, which will result in quicker, more robust setups in both vehicles and stations. Sorry, was just checking up a message real quick. Plans were kicked off for new maps and gameplay experiences for Arena Commander and Star Marine. Throughout June, the features team worked on longer-term improvements to the personal inventory system based on feedback from recent live releases. An often requested feature is the ability to move large numbers of items from one inventory to another. So we've added a move all button. This may sound trivial, but it needs the underlying logic to ensure the resulting service request is as small as possible and all condition logic is executed for the bulk of items being moved. It took them a little while. It did. Longer than I thought it would, but they did it. They've started adding actual inventory features to the inventory. Granted, they told us this would be a thing, right? They said when they first introduced the inventory system, they said, hey, we can't get everything into this first release. We're going to be adding some stuff as we go. Sorry about it. And unfortunately, CIG, your sorries and delays are no longer accepted by some people. I think most people were like, okay, fine, we'll deal with it. We won't be happy, but we'll deal with it. But some people were legit mad. But I do think that this took too long. I think they should have probably done it by 317 at the latest. And having these free fly events and having newcomers come in and having the inventory system just that awful for that long has been really tough. Theaters of War. All right. Other features. Haha, it's not the only one. Other features include being able to interact with items on the floor near the player and being able to move already equipped items from one port to another. Not gonna lie, I didn't know we couldn't do that. I guess there's not many situations in which I'm trying. When I try, maybe it just goes back into the inventory. But yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing. I will say this, there are a lot of different things that cause my items not to go to the port that I drag them to. So the more often we can get those problems fixed, the better. Move all is good. Now make it so you can filter items in the move all and fix selling at kiosks. Selling would be really nice to get fixed, yeah. You're praying for that star map rework soon. Same. We've been hearing about that for such a long time. Okay, elsewhere, previously reported fundamental changes to how actor movement synchronization is handled were completed. The new logic successfully progressed through internal testing, which allowed the team to enable the feature in limited capacity on some PTU servers. This identified additional issues for the team to work through, though the goal is still to have it enabled across all servers in 3.17 too. You know, you know what drives me nuts is how often we read stuff like this, or stuff like in this engine segment, or stuff like we're going to be reading in this graphics segment, or we read so much about bug fixing and maintenance and stuff going into this game to try and make the current experience better. I'm getting so freaking tired of why don't they stop building new things and fix the things that are there comments. Because I'm like, we've been commenting that for years now. Like there's no way that the information hasn't disseminated amongst the community that they're doing both. they can't just do one or the other or else the game would die. If they stopped working on new stuff, then once they finished all the old stuff, there'd be nothing for us to do. If they stopped working on the bugs, then everything would be broken. So obviously they have to do both, and they kind of aren't the best at either. But they're doing the best that they can, and getting that question over and over again is getting draining on my on my life force. You're happy with the game, you just want more players on the server? To be honest, I'm not happy at all with playing the game. I don't have fun playing Star Citizen that much right now. I do have fun at times, but I would say I have fun less often than more. And I think mostly that's because it is so difficult to plan things out that you spend a lot of time planning and not much time playing. Come on, guys. I can't wait for it to get better. I can't wait for it to have more gameplay opportunities and more things to do. But it's not a battle between doing new stuff and, or actually it is a battle between doing new stuff and fixing old stuff. And you have to kind of split the gap. Star map is sadly Squadron 42 first, you think? Astropub, hello. Welcome in, buddy. How you doing? Where can you find this? Can somebody drop the link to the monthly report in the chat? If you Google Star Citizen June monthly report, it should pop up. Really hope they're just hush about Theaters of War. Morph thinks it's gone. Informed America, how you doing? They do both, so it's not going to be perfect either way. Yeah. Bug fixes as secondary objective. Nobody has fun playing Star Citizen. It's like an awe simulator. If there was any one change I'd like them to make, what would that be? Oh, character resets don't reset certifications? Huh. Watch that entitled streamer whining. So much whining! I'm constantly whining. It's part of my brand, I guess. Alright, come on. Let me go. Hold on. She gets that barking from the other dog. He's taught her too much. Yo, Daniel. Towards your new raid array. Please ditch the Nash so you can get the speed and gain search raid array. I'm gonna have to figure out what that is, but thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It means a freaking ton. It goes a long way. Thank you for helping us live, my friend, and get a raid array. They really need to release incremental patches, so like the mole cargo being bugged for most of 17.2, 17.1 was absolutely frustrating. Didn't know Omen made a chair. Yeah, this is the only gaming chair I could find here. How will they let us get back our subflare in the game? Just make subflare available in stores to the people who have already unlocked it for their account, probably. It is so you can have more than one hard drive and act as one. You can do it as hardware or software. But is it in the computer itself? Is that what makes it different from a NAS? And then I would just link them together as one piece. For cheese for that wine. Ooh, see now I want cheese and wine, Randier. Thank you for the $5 super chat though. Y'all are beautiful and amazing, both you and Daniel. Thank you so much for the support, folks. It means a lot, especially when Twitch won't work. Ugh. Wish we could see more Squadron. Seems that they're spending so much time on it. They were at least trying with the briefing room, but we now know that. Yeah, that didn't work. I'm thinking about starting my own pillar talks, to be honest. In the computer or attached over a faster connection. Okay, like a SATA connection or something. Better than an Ethernet connection. Well, shoot, I just got this all set up and working for me. I love my NAS. Either way, whatever I need to have 2 of them set up. One in Turkey, one in California. Still trying to figure it all out, though. Is anyone else just waiting and try to hide from all the toxic and salty activities in SC? Kind of preserve yourself until mechanics are implemented that you actually enjoy. Yeah. In fact, I would say the majority of people are waiting like that. Most people that are interested in Star Citizen aren't even playing the game. And I'd go one step further and say this, maybe this isn't a hot take. Most people who will end up playing the game probably have never even seen it yet. I think this game has a long way to go before it gets truly popular or before even the main crowd comes back to truly play it. A NAS with faster drives could work. Yeah, aren't there M.2 NAS modules or something like that? Guess that wouldn't really matter because you don't have the M.2 connection. So that's stupid to say. I guess it would just be a SATA NAS. Or like SSD NAS instead of a hard drive in the server. I don't know, I'm dumb. I don't know computer stuff. Stop it. I'm embarrassing myself. The team, where was I? Quick before any of them notice. Where were we? Last month, the gameplay features team began working on the next steps of the salvage profession, which involved evaluating the possibilities for the munching mechanic, ship tractor beams, and the salvage grinder. Oh, I'm trying to get some sound bites so I don't have to make these sound effects. Can you believe it? Other parts of salvage gameplay? I would never. Deontay, how you doing? NAS support M.2 and SSDs? Okay. Well, cool. You doubt I'm saturating my network, my home network bandwidth? I just need faster connections. It takes so freaking long. Like, look at what happens when I try to open one of these folders with all these clips in it. Like, look at how long I have to wait for all these clips to load in. I'm just trying to find a clip, yo. And this is where we were already loading them before. If I were to go into like this page, none of them are loaded. And I just have to like scroll through. So I would love faster connections for sure. But yeah, salvage, guys. Salvage. How about that? Not just lasers. Isn't it crazy? So a lot of anger has been felt over the last couple months. Is that just Windows Explorer? Okay, maybe so. I'll have to see. It also messes up my editing. So, like, I've done a lot of testing. I'm not trying to get into the details, but like I edit from my NAS. It slows it down a lot because yes, these don't load as fast, but they also don't load into editing software as fast. These just in general, the NAS is not great for file transferring. But regardless, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about salvage. So there's been a lot of anger in the last couple of months after CIG came out and showed an example of salvage gameplay that they're working on. And I know I'm probably not going to be able to find it very quickly, but basically it's just a laser. And there's already, here we go. It's just a laser. And most people immediately started making jokes. Everything in Star Citizen is lasers. There's always lasers. Everything is a laser. Yada, yada, yada. But as we're reading here, and as we've already been told before multiple times, it's not the only part of salvage that's happening. There's ship munching, which is essentially using the... I probably don't have any footage of it. Maybe here. So like you can kind of see here, there's this section in the middle of the vulture in between these two arms where the salvage material will be conveyed through and brought into this little munching compartment down below. And like that's exactly what they're talking about here. You want to be able to do more than just the laser stuff. The laser stuff is just kind of like the first example. It's if you bring your new friend into the game and they're like, hey, I want to salvage something. You don't want to put them in a ship with a muncher and be like, okay, well, first you got to learn how to do this, and then you got to learn how to do that. Then you got to control this with the throttle and then do that. You want to just give them a little gun and tell them, hey, press this button and go over to that ship and like salvage that. It's pretty cool. Check it out. Try it. Then they try it. They spend a couple minutes doing it and they're like, hey, this is pretty sick. Is there more to it? And that's when you start to show them the other forms of salvage. They did it with mining. They're doing it with medical. They're probably going to do it with things that are data related. Exploration, we can kind of already see it. So I think it's worth keeping in mind that whenever they introduce something and there is a laser, it's not necessarily because the laser is the best way to do it. It's because it's the easiest way to do it. And they are trying to make it easy for people to do while also making a lot of it for people to do. Your Wi-Fi NAS is faster. You made it with a Raspberry Pi. That's pretty dope. Can you start salvaging people's ships when they run into a station and it's on the pad? Probably, yeah. You'd probably get a crime stat for it, but I imagine you'll be able to salvage anything. There's going to be a working grinder inside the reclaimer. Yeah, that as well. So the Vulture and the reclaimer both have grinders that they can pull materials into in order to grind them up into scrap. As a mechanic who has done some bodywork, lasers would be nice. Actually benefit from a couple lasers here and there. Laser bidets. Absolutely. Sounds super comfy. More gold standard ships should help with salvage with the physical components and all. Yeah, I thought we would get physicalized components earlier. I'm uncertain about how that's gonna work, if that's like when that's gonna happen. Seems like it's still gonna be a little while away. Okay. They also mentioned that the Reclaimer and the Vulture hull scraping features are progressing well and waiting on elements from the cargo refactor. Literally the only thing we've heard about the cargo refactor in monthly reports in months. Tell us more. Engineering and life support are proceeding well too. The team are now able to show all relevant items, rooms, doors, and their corresponding controls and data in an early blocked out UI screen. The initial interactive elements and the fire exchangeable interactable ship items were added too. This is cool too. This is huge. Engineering has been like on the horizon for such a long time, because they've been showing us, we had full-on interface stuff talk. So power management isn't exactly engineering, but they're very closely related. So you can see down here, we're on the life support tab right now, but if you switched over to the engineering tab, it might give you some kind of readout that looks at power. And when you're looking at power, you're looking at something like this. So we got this 2 years ago already. And this is showing the layout of all the relays, batteries, power supplies, turrets, gravity generators, all of the components of a hammerhead. You can kind of tell from the shape. And the idea of engineering is that you'll be able to shunt power off in various directions, altering how the ship is balanced based on what you need it to do. You need all the power to turrets, all the power to the quantum drive, some of the power to the shields, that kind of stuff. This is the idea behind engineering. And the overall plan for it is that you're going to have a fuel tank, a power plant, a battery. And these things are all kind of how you run the ship. Your power plant's always running your ship off of your battery, unless your fuel tank is powering the ship, in which case your battery can recharge. So it's kind of like a car. And the engineering side of it all sounds really, really cool. Life support also is pretty cool. And I think I have a clip here that I can, let's see, use to talk about life support. Yeah. So they also showed us some of the details behind how smoke will work in the ship. Anybody who doesn't know, fire is going to be a huge part of the game. This definitely feels a little bit like scope creep, feature creep. Fire was always going to be part of the game, but they've gone very above and beyond with the detail of it. Besides the fact that fire can catch to various materials in different ways, melt certain materials, and eat up the oxygen in the air, the smoke can also use up the oxygen in the air and flow between compartments. So in this example, what we're seeing is actually the smoke. It's not super high resolution, but you can kind of see the smoke here as it's being moved from one compartment into the vents there. It's actually showing the air being processed by what we would perceive to be the life support system. And that's just a peek sort of at this sort of life support system, how you can change the O2 levels, the oxygen levels, the carbon dioxide levels, and the pressures in various rooms in your ships. Sometimes you might want to vent it to kill someone. Sometimes you might want to vent it just to annoy your friend. A weird prank, but I'm not going to judge. You do you. Life support and engineering sounds really cool. And I'm happy to see that they've actually got something tangible working with it. A big red flag is the ship tractor beam not working, meaning things like the raft would still be useless. You think most people will be disappointed with the cargo refactor, like they've been making it out to be where you will move your cargo from day one, but it seems like we can't with V1 cargo refactor. Yeah, Yeah, and we got into that in the podcast a little bit this week. Does this justify 800 employees? What they're doing? I think that's hard to say for us. I don't think you could ever know from the outside if a company's employee count is justified because you don't know all of the work that's being done. For instance, I used to work for a company that had like 55,000 employees. And I was like, just judging the size of the company, I was like, do we actually have that many employees? I mean, obviously that's much different from 800. That's a lot more tangible of a number to understand. But yeah, I don't think it's possible for us to know if it's worth 800 employees or not. I think that eventually they'll need 800 employees for how much they're trying to do and expand. What their plans are it doesn't seem like they could do it with even 800 employees. I feel like they need more, but who knows? We just don't have enough insight into what's actually going on with Squadron to really know. You'll be able to move cargo, but it's gonna be timers, right? And we'll be able to move it ourselves with like the handheld tractor beam and stuff. Version 1 cargo would be cool if they let us organize how the boxes automatically show up in our hold. Yeah, they kind of gave us some examples of that, but I don't think they'll be around for a while. Just 800 to manage the servers. Okay, so finished features gameplay. Let's go on to vehicles. Last month, Vehicle Features worked on a variety of tasks to ready their systems for the release of persistent streaming. This involved the ongoing refactor of the transit system so they can simulate train networks when the carriages aren't spawned in on any machines. You know, it's funny that that's a problem that they actually have to think about, because you wouldn't normally with a game. You go into an area, the train spawns, it's running, you get in it, it goes. You get off it, it stays there, you move, it despawns. When you get there, it's there again. Even in an MMO, they're still technically on timers that are running all the time. And because they're always running, it's not really a problem. But with this, they're saying that due to persistent streaming and I think server meshing, since these trains will literally get loaded off of the server when nobody's around them, they have to figure out a way to simulate that they're still running so that they can get picked back up when somebody comes back nearby. And it's just not even a problem I ever would imagine they'd have, but it actually sounds like it's been a decent amount of work that they've had to do in preparation for Squadron or for server meshing. And it's like these kinds of little things that you just never know about. The team also continued to refactor, and redesign restricted areas. On the restricted areas, they said we conducted some playtesting and found issues with the UI and user experience side of things, which we're working on now. We've now also set up a whole system using the new system, a whole city using the new system to test out developer tooling, which has been quite successful. Y'all remember restricted areas, right? The good old days. Honestly, I hate restricted areas because they will be invisible and they will also kill you. So if you happen to make the wrong move, you're just like, bye, you're done. It's just the worst system. So I don't know how they could do it well. I really don't. Because I don't want to see the restricted area. I want to have a nice view of the city, but I also want to know exactly where I can go up to. So I really don't know how they can do it, but they should figure something out. Do it. Just do it, CIG. Good day, Anno. How you doing? Because of Pez, the trains can't run. That you right, Astropub. The pub. Quantum trains. With how AI is going with Google and others, it's obvious someone is going to make something game dev can plug into to give players real-time dynamic chat. I wonder if then we will have NPC crew. Like VoIP chat with the AI? They talked about that, I think, this last week. Should this game have a mini-map? I think this game should have the ability for you to have a mini-map. I don't think you should have one by default. I think you should either be able to add a mini-map to your helmet HUD visor or to a Mobiglass contact lens that you have. I do think that most helmets should come standard with a mini-map, but you should have the choice of going without it. You should have the ability to make the mistake of forgetting it. That's a big part of what drives the gameplay in this game, and I think they should stick to it with things like UI as well, at least as much as they can. But you also have to make it very clear that that's a thing to people, because people will think that minimaps don't exist in the game and be very annoyed. And in cities, I think it might make sense. But then I also want the city signs to make sense. You can get broken or jammed. Yeah, being able to EMP a minimap would be cool. All right, vehicle features worked alongside AI to allow use of different ship modes. We read about that earlier in the AI segment, such as missile operator mode. This is still in development, though progressing well, which, you know, arbitrary, but okay. On the balance side, further tweaks were made to the new ground vehicle handling, while a review and rebalance of fuel began as well, which aims to improve the refueling experience. They've shown us briefly recently here, I might be able to find it on my archive. They've shown us recently that they are redoing the way that ground vehicles handle in this game. Many of you know, just as well as me, ground vehicles are kind of miserable to drive. They don't handle well. So looking here, you'll see on the, I think the left side is, no, on the right side is old. Is that right? No, I'm sorry. The left side is old, the right side is new. So you can see how the old is kind of floaty, bouncy, up in the air. And you'll really notice it here when they go over this hill. Look at how high they get, how long they hang in the air. Floating, kind of just hanging there in the air. Whereas on the right side, you see this truck goes off and the front immediately dips, dragging it back down to the ground. You can tell that that right one is a lot more weighty and a little more grippy. So I think this is aiming to make that ground travel gameplay a lot better. Something that we've been lacking a lot. Honestly, something that has made me full on just not drive ground vehicles because they just bounce all over the place. And this includes some other additions, like here you can see on the left side, you can go full on Mass Effect 1 Mako with it. Just get up on the side of the wall, sit there and do absolutely nothing and you're good. Whereas on the right side with the new improvements, they're starting to add the weight into the vehicle and make sure that it's not actually able to just sit there. Now, it doesn't feel like a big deal. It doesn't. But Mass Effect didn't do it. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't feel like a big deal, but I think that there's a lot that goes into how the gravity of these planets affects these vehicles. Different planets, different gravities, different atmospheres, all that stuff. So I'm thinking there has to be some significant systemic changes to make this work better, but I could be wrong. That's what the rope is for. Graphics, VFX, programming, and Planet Tech. You don't usually hear Planet Tech in there. This is the first time they've ever included Planet Tech in the monthly report, and they didn't really have much to say, but cool that they're starting to put it here, because this section usually is like the engine section for me. I have no idea what's going on in it, but let's take a shot anyways. Last month, the graphics team continued porting features to Gen 12, including gas clouds, rivers, frozen oceans, refraction, and multipass support. Fixes were also submitted for tessellation partitioning for planet ground fog. For the Vulcan backend, the team fixed issues caught by the validation layer, including mismatched textured types and mismatches of unused vertex input attributes. Yay. For the render to texture system, the team fixed a crash caused by the wrong resolution being calculated when the screen resolution was changed, along with an issue with render to texture holograms occasionally pixelating. Render to texture is basically when they're just doubling up or projecting one part of the game into another part of the game with the screen, rendering something into the texture of the game. This is what you see when somebody calls you in the ship. This is what you see when you go to the what's his name, Mission Giver, I believe. It's literally recording part of the game and projecting it into another section, which is pretty resource intensive, apparently. But they're making it more efficient. They're fixing bugs. When people ask you why don't they fix bugs, tell them to read these because they're fixing bugs. In short, they start simulating the weight of the vehicle like they should. I think so, but I'm not really sure. They never specifically said that. On ground, you have security. Flying them on maps, it shows restricted areas. Yeah, maybe on the map would be good. Wolf Daddy, I'll catch you later. Thanks for hanging out, and thank you for subbing. Yeah, Anno, the Twitch stream wasn't working. I'm not sure what's going on with my stream today. Gonna have to call somebody probably, but things are rough. And I had to drop Twitch. I hate freaking dropping Twitch. Anyways, bugs were also fixed for the LOD merger, including an update to allow combining objects with more than 64 submaterials. They also investigated issues with the rendering of invalid static shadow regions entities. Significant progress was made on their hair shader too, including updates to graying controls, variation tiling, and melanin selection. VFX programming continued investigating offline damage maps with persistence. They also continued implementing IMGUI debug tools for damage maps and dynamic bit set data structure for damage map queries. Changes were also made to damage map materials alongside optimizations to hit processing and rendering. So lots of damage map things. Holy shit, Daniel. Wow. Keep super chat. Keep up the great work. Love the channel. You seem to have a somewhat curated archive of all those video clips. Is that something you'd ever consider giving access to, maybe through Patreon? First of all, thank you so much for the freaking $100 super chat, Daniel. That's gonna do a ton for us. Thank you so much. Oh gosh, that's like more money than we make in a day. Thank you. This footage is something I'm continuing to build, and I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with yet. I am considering creating some form of service, expanding this out to multiple games and starting to develop a library of B-roll for games across the genre, and then allowing that to be something that different creators can pull from. But it's early days. I'm still trying to get the system organized for myself. So I don't know. Don't know yet. Thank you so much for the super chat though, seriously. Kurwas said they will never admitting that they have to do it to everything in game because it's already an open world simulation. And by the way, even your YouTube stream is a bit shaky at times. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. My upload speeds are 8. I get 8 megabits per second upload, but this is not. I've been streaming on this internet for a couple weeks now. The greatest starter pack for Star Citizen is going to be the Aurora. It's the cheapest and most reliable. Although if the Pisces is at $45, I would get that instead. But that's only if. Ooh, Daniel, my man. VFX programming continued investigating offline damage maps, and I believe we already read that. The Planet Tech team focused on bug fixes to help unblock the sandbox teams. They also looked at module placement, fine-tuning for Rastar, and further developed automatic river placement validation. Rastar is fun. For anybody who doesn't know about Rastar, it is the tool that allows them to create new buildings. So it lets them flatten down the ground and create a spot for outposts. This is something that they actually couldn't ever do before and caused a lot of problems for them creating new outposts, creating points of interest for us to discover. That's why we just haven't had that many places to go. Well, this and server meshing. But they've now got the Rastar tool working a little bit better. No, not that. I do, pretty sure I have actual videos of this. Somewhere in here. There we go. So it allows them to now build these outposts out very quickly and flatten the ground where they need to. And this is going to definitely, I think, combined with server meshing, some stability fixes, and more surface area with Pyro, I think this is going to lead to a lot more small points of interest coming along for us in the game. If you're willing to pay a little more, Cutlass Black is one of the best starters. I'd go for the Avenger before the Cutlass Black. Might be settings in OBS. I don't know. I was changing the settings around during the stream. Couldn't really get it to work. Dropped all the way down to 2,000 bits, all the way back up to 6,000, down to 5, 4, 3. Settled at 5, which usually is working fine for me, but it doesn't seem to be working today. So I don't know. Could be something with OBS though. Whole internet is shaky, maybe due to the whole cyber war that iOS is going on over a known issue. Huh. But yeah, the idea that they've got a base building tool working is pretty cool. And if you didn't know, they're actually also developing this tool to eventually be usable by us to build our own bases in the game. So it's important stuff, and every time we see it come up, it's a little bit better. The Apollo is such a cool ship. The lighting team onboarded new artists with work on the racetrack currently being added to the surface of Clio. I'm glad they've started to actually say, hey, we're onboarding this member to the team, here's what we're doing with them. That adds some context. That's really nice detail. The team completed a pass on the new gas clouds and rest stop stations being added to R-Corp and Microtech's Lagrange points. Anybody been to those yet? Do they look any different? Same colors? Same clouds? This was done using the already established palette. Never mind, there's my answer. And lighting language for quick integration. Gosh, if I just read, you know? The team also continued to light the new derelict outposts and ship locations before refocusing on the upcoming Colonial outpost location set. This is a huge new location and a new challenge for the team as they build the lighting to allow for dynamic and player-driven light state changes. I've got some cool stuff to show you regarding that, because it is a huge addition and they have shown us a lot. We will actually start off looking at those dynamic player-controlled lighting situations they talked about. So when we first started hearing about these locations, this is like 3 years ago, they actually teased this to us a little bit. And I don't know how much of that stuck around, but if you look really closely at some of these videos, oh, this is actually just 1 year ago, never mind. You'll see that they have these things that say interactive points, right? Everything labeled in yellow is interactive. This little MFD, and these are battery packs, as you can see down here. So it seems, and they even label here that there's a fuse. And if you remember, they talked about fuses in the relays in ship power management. And whenever they talk about power management, they talk about it being used for both ships and outposts. So I'm pretty sure this is another example of power management starting to be looked into more. And with these interactive bits that they are doing on some of these pieces, it is possible we could see it come in with the Colonial outposts if they get it done in time. That's not a for sure. It's not a guarantee, but I think it's possible. And you'll see it on all these things. This is a life support add-on. So again, just like we're getting on the ships, this is a life support module for a base. And just like ships are using the power management, life support engineering systems that we're also seeing being worked on up here, it seems like maybe they're also factoring them into the outposts already, which is really good stuff. I'm super happy to see the different teams working in tandem with this kind of stuff and progressing as one. But if you haven't seen these outposts, I'll show you a couple videos of them. Here's some gameplay where you could see a player, or rather somebody experiencing this in CitizenCon last year. Kurwas, thank you so much for the super sticker. €3. I appreciate you. Do I not have... Okay, I do have alerts coming on. I don't think I get any sound for that. We're going to redo all of our alerts coming up here soon for the new stream. What's up? You played this game this week on the free trial and you like it. Butch, was that your first time playing? What'd you think of it? And welcome to the community. We love new players. Some of the R&Rs are different, some is similar to existing. You get a way better feeling going into the new Lagrange points. They're pretty nice, not too much different than the current ones, but a bit different landing hangars. That's cool. Like 40 people watched that video. What video? What video y'all talking about? Now I'm curious. So funny how YouTube just threw me on here randomly on autoplay. Really? YouTube just autoplays to streams? That's actually really nice of them. Thanks, YouTube. All right. Next up is the locations team out of Montreal. A major focus throughout June was bug fixing, polishing, and addressing Evocati feedback on the Derelict Reclaimer settlement and space missions. Really hope they haven't put that in there yet because there's still plenty of problems with it. If we ever do a Space Tomato drinking game remaking this stream, would be a shoot. Hey, I already have the overlays for the new stream done, okay? So it's actually happening this time. With these new outskirts, we now have a better idea of the scale of, the Lorville cityscape progressed through the white box phase. The outskirts of Lorville were added and placed with proper scale. Okay, can I just say that if Lorville's gonna get redone and rescaled, I really, really would like it if it was made to look like the concept art. Like, I hope that they go a little bit deeper into the very dirty and crappy dystopian city, because if you look at some of these pictures, and so like this is what it looks like outside the hospital. Yeah, they kind of get this vibe, but not really. The volumetrics are a little different, I think. You can't visibly tell that the city is so tiered vertically in the game, and it also feels much more closed off. Your sightlines are nowhere near this far in the game. There's another good picture here that I think really captures Lorville too. Here's a little comparison actually somebody did between the concept art and in-game. Kind of similar, no clouds in this one. But that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is the look of the city from up on top of a building. Here's another look actually. Here's their security segment. Looks super industrial. Just grimy as heck, right? Again, I hope they can go more for this with this new style. Also, again, not the picture I was looking for. But that was a newer picture. It shouldn't even be this far down. Should be up here. Here we go. So here's one. Again, very grimy, dirty feel to it. A bit more than what we get in the game. R-Corp rework then. When R-Corp's not going to be for a while, I think. But they are working on it. Or rather, they do have plans for it. This is weird. This is another one from Lorville. This is a super old one. Looks nothing like this anymore. But I can't find the one I want to show you. I think my eyes are just passing over it. It should be around here. But it's a very dirty feeling that they've given Lorville, not only in these concept images, also a lot in the lore. The lore makes it feel incredibly dangerous and dirty all the time. This is the picture I was looking for. You can see it. It looks like it's straight up raining acid out there. There's tons of smog. Wait, no, never mind. This is ArcCorp. Is this? No, this is Hurston. This is Lorville. So like, there are tiers. We're in like this kind of suburb area. This is the outskirts they're talking about, right? Then you can see like the city buildings in the background here. And then all the way in the back, towering above that, you can see the Hurston Dynamics building coming up. And you get this super strong sense of distance, of grime, of a bustling city. And you're still missing it in the cities in the game right now. I think what they have in game is impressive, but I'm simply not very impressed anymore. I mean, that sounds bad. I'm impressed, but I think they could do it better. I mean, knowing CIG and seeing what they've created, I think they can match this a little bit better. Maybe that's not what they want to go for, but I think this would fit Hurston a lot more to differentiate it from Lorville and ArcCorp. Area 18 and ArcCorp. But anyways, they're reworking Lorville, which is pretty cool regardless, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. A new crash site containing the 600I and Mercury derelicts is approaching white box complete. The team refined the composition and placement of the two ships to create compelling settlement that will give a different flavor than the Reclaimer derelict. I don't know exactly what they mean by this. I don't think the two ships will be crashed together, but they certainly make it sound like they will be. New Lorville sounds like it's going to be a new standard for cities. Yeah, I hope so. I hope that it sounds like they're putting more work into it than I originally thought. I hope they're going all out. I really do. I mean, I know it's going to take a long time. It's going to extend development. Cities aren't important, all that stuff, yada yada. But I really like getting deep into this lore. Yeah, you do lose those feelings you get on your first time after a while. I don't with Orison. I think Orison is really well done to always be fresh when you go back. But that might just be because it's only a year old. Alright, in-game branding, which is a new team added to the report. The new Montreal-based in-game branding team began their first task of revisiting all landing zone signage to make it easier for players to orient themselves. This is an ideal mandate since it is developing a close working collaboration with existing teams. The philosophy of this team is to listen to the community and leverage every aspect of in-game branding to offer a better player experience. This is more important than it sounds because the brands in this game are all over the place. I don't know if I have a video looking at logos. Man, I really thought I did, because they've shared them out before. There are a ton of brands in this game, and most of them are brands that you can both work for and buy from. So they need to make sure to stay consistent with the branding, what they represent, how they work, who they work with, what their logos look like, because that kind of stuff is actually going to affect our gameplay. It's going to change who we're going to for missions. It's going to change what we're doing for missions, who we're willing to make friendships with. So I'm glad that they've got a team just full on about branding and making sure that gets included in the game. And this is going to help new players a lot. You know, this is something that hints at that new player experience. Doesn't outright say it, but it is part of the push that they seem to be doing to make sure that new players have an easier time in this game. Maria Pure of Heart gives you hope. They're on the right path. Maria Pure of Hearts came out really well. Home of the best grocery store in the system, Orion. Hey, no problem, Azo. No problem at all. We got an international community here. Take your time. We'll do our best to understand if you make any typos, but you're doing great. Narrative team. During June, the narrative team spent time on their remaining tasks for Alpha 317-2, including getting strings for new items, missions, locations, and vehicle liveries ready to be added to the patch. Meanwhile, the team continued to work on a new mission archetype planned for future release. New missions. Especially when it's a new mission archetype. That's good news. Can't possibly know what exactly it's going to mean yet. Adding new missions in this game is kind of hit or miss, it seems. But I'm excited to get a new opportunity at missions regardless. And we've seen that they have quite a few professions in the planning here with reputation to go with it so that you can progress through, unlock new rewards, unlock new jobs, all that stuff. On the screen here, we have medicine, bounty hunting, assassination, mining, racing, courier, espionage, security, hired muscle, emergency response, theft, smuggling, kidnapping, salvage, and hauling. Those are some very wild and crazy professions, especially kidnapping. But I'm excited to see what of this might be getting the new missions. Narrative team link into that, you think? Into the missions? Maybe cargo missions. I could see that. I hope it's either cargo or mining missions. We need missions in those segments. We really do. And if they have some narrative with them, that'd be great. But yeah, so they've got plans for missions and the reputation that goes with it. It's just a matter of seeing which ones they tackle first and how fully featured it actually is. Hopefully it's not just, hey, here's your cargo hauling mission, and it's literally just buy some cargo and take it here. That would be very annoying. I hope that these are actually narrative-based missions, but that's what they're saying. They just don't say how far into depth the narrative team is getting. It could literally just be the paragraph of flavor text that you get in the mobiGlas. We don't really know. The narrative team report mentioned 2 missions, 1 event, the other some more generic missions. I see. That's in the Squadron 42 report or this one? Cargo delivery missions should be time-based with pirate interdiction risk to force you to get security. Yeah, so that would be coming from the quantum system. Additionally, the writers created several scripts and had a recording session for the Frontier vendors, who will populate bars and shops in the more remote corners of the universe. These line sets, that's important that they say in the universe, these aren't just pyro vendors. The Frontier and colonialism outposts and style are something we'll see in multiple systems, not just pyro. These line sets were expanded to include the ability for the vendors to offer players jobs and missions in preparation for when that mechanic becomes available. That's a great feature. Great freaking feature to be able to get missions from bartenders and shopkeepers. They mentioned hair in the report? No, I didn't see anything about hair. I didn't say hair. Did I say hair? Think those are the traveling vendors. Yeah, I could see that. And those are illegal good dealers, right? Or is that just the archetype on the progress tracker? Because they used to link the traveling vendor with the illegal goods dealer, but I think maybe those are 2 separate things now. VFX. Oh, they mentioned other missions? Okay. June also saw the team conduct narrative reviews of a few upcoming vehicles. During these reviews, the team meets with the designers and artists to look at each vehicle's smallest details to ensure the lore is consistent throughout. This led the team writing up suggestions for several new decals. Oh, it's where they mentioned hair. Okay. QA focused on the Alpha 3.17 patch and the integrations from their supported team streams. For AI, integration checks were completed for new and updates to existing features before they hit the main branch. They also updated all existing checklist documents in accordance with the new features coming for testing from the development teams. The embedded locations testers continued to learn the editor and team's workflow to better support them by creating test levels. Focus last month was on room systems and the tools used to create outposts and stations. That's pretty cool. The fact that the QA team is testing the room system that's good. That's great to hear. Regular landing zone checks also continue to ensure they haven't deteriorated. For the engine team, QA continued to focus on page heap testing to keep on top of memory issues in game. They also continued to learn flow graph and coding for automation use. The tools team continued to receive support with the testing of their core tools. I'm stuck using the grizzled older guy's skin because he has stubble. Please, CIG. Seriously, I need more hair options. All right, the tools team. The tools team continued rolling out Mighty Bridge to all teams and organized workshops on how to use it. The programming Mighty Bridge is a super big deal, by the way. We've been talking about their ability to create some of these systems more quickly, but Mighty Bridge takes it to a whole nother level. It allows them to move the stuff that builds these things straight into the game editor, so they don't have to leave the game editor, build the stuff they want to build, go back into the game editor, render it into the editor, and then test it out. They can build it right there in the editor, drop down into it to test it, and then make changes right there on the fly. It also, I think, is going to let them build other things into the game editor, things like Houdini, which lets them do, I guess, stuff with bases, I'm not sure, but also stuff like gas clouds. Overall, just another optimization in the way that they build the game. But this kind of shows us a quick demo of what the Mighty Bridge tool is used for. You can see they use it to build space stations, which was their first kind of modular location builds that they did. But they also then took that space station system and used it to make caves as well. So now the same exact system that puts together all these modular pieces builds out the caves that we go in underground. And overall, this Mighty Bridge system allows them to do all of this in the game engine without having to leave it with Houdini. I don't know about any other tools besides Houdini that'll benefit from it, but it sounds like there will be more in the future. Wrapping up the ability to bring geometry from the editor into Houdini and UX improvements to Mighty Bridge. That's, yeah. On the technical art side, the procedural location creation tool is progressing well, with the team expecting to put the first version into the hands of the team soon. Advancements were made to a suite of asset scattering and environmental integration tools. For example, the first prototype will be a tool to create a destruction trail behind crashed spaceships in derelict settlements. Instead of having to edit by hand, the environment artist will be able to draw a spline that will automatically create the trail before adjusting a set of variables to make the trail look exactly how they want. This type of tool can represent great gains in productivity. For example, creating a trail by hand took an artist around a week. This tool should reduce the time to half a day. We've seen that with Planet Tech. We know that it works with Planet Tech. And I don't think I have footage of the new derelict reclaimer on here yet. I should. Yeah, here we go. So, no, actually, I really should. Hey, that doesn't make any sense. There's been a more recent episode where they showed it. Maybe it just hasn't been loaded in yet. But you can see from the reclaimer derelict that's in the game now, there's a very kind of, it's not a simple destruction path, but it's definitely something that I would hope they could move into a tool, so I'm glad to read that they've done it. Whatever helps them speed up, right? Significant progress was made on the hair shader tool, including updates to graying controls. I see. That was in the graphics and VFX. Significant progress was made on the hair shader tool too, including updates to graying controls, variation tiling, and melanin selection. That's good. Hope we get to hear more soon. Starting from scratch instead of using a tool like Unreal starting to pay off. Slow start though. Yeah, it's slow, but it's good to finally see that happening. Hey Rift, I do remember the name Rift. How you doing? When is the server wipe? Probably in the next couple weeks. Cargo fix was on the Mustang. Yeah, that was very nice to see. Quick question, did they mention any texturing updates for planets like trees and rocks? They mentioned a difference in the way that they're rendered via Gen 12, though I don't think that kind of stuff taken effect in the game yet. I think that's planned probably for 3.18. All right. I lost myself. Where were we? Here we are. Tech animation. The team continued wrapping up the animation pipeline refactor mentioned in last month's report. This involved creating new rigs and tools and stripping out old code for more elegant and performant solutions. They also continued work on a new system that puts fidelity above all else. As if that's not how we always do. Although rarely used in gaming due to its expense and limitations, this type of system is ideal for performance pieces. See, and they don't really tell us what the system actually is. Stop streaming on Twitch altogether now because of your issues. I hope that's not what I want to do. I don't want to. I can't drop Twitch. Twitch is like 30 to 40% of our income. So it's definitely not only that, it's also like where I started. I really like streaming there. I love the crowd over there. I love the chat there. I want to get it to work, but for today, I didn't want to have it up because I don't want people to come to the stream and have it be that bad. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like I'm having a problem with even YouTube here. It keeps telling me there's not enough bitrate going through to YouTube. But there should be. And my problem is I don't have a keyboard for the other computer, so I can't actually change my bitrate on the fly. I'm gonna have to go and move this computer's keyboard to that one. Yeah, maybe I should restart my router. That's such an issue though. Like, how are you supposed to just... You can't just go live every day on a stream, figure out if the stream is broken, and then go and restart all your stuff. I wish this stuff was more reliable. What is this mystery feature? I don't know. I have no idea. What does everybody think this is? It's rarely used in gaming due to its expense and limitations. But it puts a focus on fidelity over all else. I have no clue what that would mean. Pub, you're thinking 3D animation stuff of some sort? But like, what kind of 3D animation stuff would they do that most other games don't do? I don't know. I don't know. Planning was done for coming quarters, and numerous new character heads progressed towards animation support too. Online services in Montreal. Montreal has so many teams now. The team progressed towards the new login flow implementation and are currently fixing the remaining bugs found during QA review. This refactor is a necessary step towards the goal of achieving persistent entity streaming. Yay. The team also managed to fix the stream sniper bug, a long-standing exploit allowing players to obtain another player's marker despite not being in the party. That has been very annoying. Not even just as like somebody who's streaming, just in general. You just get calls randomly from people and you're like, stop it. I was having some issues like that, Astropub, and it was a cord back in Turkey, or back in California. These cords are all new. But maybe it is a problem with the cord. I'll have to see. You just bought a new keyboard on Prime Day? Cool. Cool. Likely just stuff on how smooth the animation is. I want it to be something cool. Did we already talk about live tools or online services? Live tools. They worked hard on the design of the new Network Operations Center module dedicated to monitoring and troubleshooting login issues, which is now ready for deployment. I wish I could be excited about that, but that's a very much internal improvement, it seems. The reputation and entitlement modules are now using a new technology to communicate with services. This migration will eventually be applied to all the modules. I don't know what a module is in this context. I hope someday I'll be able to find out. The team is also progressing with a new feature that lets users view player inventories, which will be used to troubleshoot ship and equipment issues more easily. So does this mean internal users, CIG users, can see player inventories more easily? Is that what they're talking about? What do you think? What do you think? When will they release 3.17.2 live and why? 2 weeks, maybe. I have no reason to predict when it would go live. I don't have anything really to go off of. This PTU still needs plenty of work, it seems, but it doesn't seem too far off. I would say like 1 to 2 weeks. I haven't gotten to play enough to really know that well, though. Turbulent on the web platform side, which is weird because I thought Turbulent was also in Montreal. We're just going to look back at that. The web team continued to prepare for upcoming promotions and to move forward with expanding the Alexandria product. The improvements and product evolution will increase ROIs with a global skin and theme library, allowing for a focus on quality, performance, and updating services. Does anybody know about this Alexandria product? I've never even heard of that. Excuse me. Excuse me. As the number of product users continues to grow, the team is focusing on ensuring the tool is both efficient and flexible, allowing the players to gain better insight with consistent branding, communication, and overall content. The back-end web team completed the implementation of a new media management service. Although only used by a small subset of microservices, the media management service will provide much more efficient processing when images are uploaded and retrieved. The team also began standardizing the authorization tokens so that all microservices use the same method across the platform. It's just a website tool, Alexandria. Okay. DevOps worked on an initiative to completely switch over the web platform to Kubernetes, while Turbulent's experienced team continued reworking the customer journey to make it easier and clearer for new users getting in the game. They need a whole rework of the website. I'm sorry, but outside of the fact that like you can click on a segment of the website that takes you into an interface that looks like it belongs to a different company, it's also just super confusing and not very well formatted for players. They really need to do a lot with this website. It's like they started a rework on it back in 2017, and they got like all the sales side, the sales pages, information pages, a lot of like the tutorial stuff, the new players experience stuff, Spectrum, all that got put over. But then like the home page, the com link, a lot of the older pages, the ship matrix, all this stuff is in the old style. It's very weird. Tommy, come on. Hold on a second. All right. Where were we? Crouch just said no. Fair enough. Good point. DevOps worked on an initiative to completely switch over we've already read that. Time was also dedicated to adding features to the new community hub. With the migration almost complete, the team continued adding moderation tools, user profiles, Twitch integration, and the following features. So we heard about that a little bit already. The community hub is something they seem to be putting a lot of focus on. They want us to use it. They're saying, we can't wait to release this into the wild. It will act as the place to be if you want to feel the pulse of the community. I already said I feel like that's SC refunds, but apparently this is going to be better. So we'll see what kind of features are here, but the current community hub just doesn't make me any interest. Like, the current community hub makes me interested to go see it, but I don't know. I don't have much reason to do so. I wish it would be a little bit easier, or I wish it would be a little more interesting to visit and see and use. Maybe it's the interface. I just need to switch that around, make it update better. For instance, actually, so here's something. Here's definitely something they could do. Lord Skippy, thank you for the $5. Honey and me never got that promised puppy picture. All right, here's your puppy picture. This is old Tommy. There she is, barking. But this is her a couple days ago. Looking cute. Just got fed. Having fun. Don't mind the dirty yard. I have a lot of work I still have to do. We haven't fully moved in, so I got work to do this weekend on that. But there's good old Tomert. Anyways, if you go into the community hub, they have some good ideas here. They really do. Some of them, like, so like a feed of YouTube videos might be cool. Staff picks specifically, yes. Having Twitch or having live streams here is pretty cool. Although I think it could be much better organized. This is a terrible way to see the live streams. You can't even tell the preview. And then surprisingly, they also have a place for podcasts here. Astropub, you might be interested in this. I just uploaded mine, but what I'm getting from this is that they're not showing you episodes, they're showing you specific podcasts, or maybe you have to post it every time it happens. So what I think would be better is if there was an RSS feed that you could put here, and then it drops your episode in here whenever there is one. Because I put my RSS feed here, but I don't think it's going to update every time I put an episode in. We'll see. But I don't see anybody else is updating. The last one was 4 months ago. It's a great idea. But again, it's not being used in the best way, I think. From Paris, nice. Headed to Paris in a couple of months, actually. Florida. Good old Florida. And then there's also the forums MVP, which shows you stuff from the forums, and the dev tracker, which is cool. All of these are all cool ideas, and I think these are all worthwhile to see, but they need to do a much better job. Again, this is the old style of the website. I don't know why it's still in this style, but I'm glad to see that they're going to update it. And yeah, like Starstream said, this is only Twitch streams. They're missing out on both Facebook and YouTube streams, as well as other platforms, the smaller ones. So they just, it needs a refresh. I'm glad they're looking into it. We got to get something that you can use to redeem puppy pics over here on YouTube. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll figure something out. Okay, UI team. Throughout June, UI worked on the star map. Ayo. Hooking up quantum travel on contextual menus to make the process more intuitive. They also investigated how to show large-scale space clouds. I think that's actually really cool. We saw this in... See if I could find this rather quickly. Cool, here we go. We saw this here in the Squadron 42 vertical slice from a couple of years ago. And you could see that in this map, they kind of have gas clouds showing up on the map. Obviously, this was a previs. This was a mock-up for the vertical slice just to get it working. But you can see the ideas that they always have throughout the development, all the things they strive for, they show us, they try to make previs for or concepts for. Eventually, they do get to working on them. And I'm happy to hear that this is something that didn't leave, because I think while you can be too fancy with the star map, it's going to be pretty cool to be able to see all of the space elements around our ships, our stations, and the planets while we're playing, as long as it actually runs smoothly. That's my first hope for a star map. I just want it to work correctly. But this sounds cool. Time was also invested into upgrading the underlying systems to work with persistence, particularly around vehicles and character loadouts for the various game modes. They also ported the in-game chat to building blocks as part of the ongoing conversion of the lens and visor. Another aspect that I think is really going to help with the new player experience. The UI tech team worked on new approaches to aspect ratios to make it easier for the developers to set up resizable screens. They also upgraded the new 3D UI card system so that they can easily create layered floating UI with curved surfaces. This will help create better looking interactive holographic UIs and animated billboards in key areas. And all my Origin fanboys are rejoicing! Origin, looking at what they're doing with the Aegis HUD, which if you haven't seen it, let me show you. Ho ho ho! Let me show you, friends. The Aegis HUD concepts that they came up with are amazing. Mostly because of the animations, but the design itself looks pretty cool. It might be a bit much, but this is a concept, so they probably won't do all of it. But this is what the Aegis HUD was kind of looking like. Pretty cool, layered, it's got like parallax effects, cool animations and stuff. Hopefully plenty readable. And then this is kind of what the Drake concepts were looking like that they were planning. You can see more angular, feels a little older in style, kind of retro almost. Definitely different from the Aegis one. So seeing the different, and also look at that radar screen. That's the coolest part down here. It looks like an 80s science fiction spaceship game, right? So they have these different styles for all the ships, and Origin is very fancy. All of their stuff is holographic. So I think that these new 3D holographic UI improvements are something that Origin folks are really going to enjoy. Okay, our last section, VFX. The VFX team worked on several locations last month, including a Grimhex hospital location, several derelict reclaimer variants, and some derelict outposts. Work was also completed on an upcoming vehicle, and salvage effects were further iterated upon. Actually, if you haven't seen salvage, let me show you real quick. We have a very, very basic version of salvage we get to see. It doesn't even have the proper VFX in it. It's just kind of like a proof of function showing, but you can see. So here's the first one we got with the hand tool. VFX obviously nowhere near complete. And then after that, a little bit later, we got to see it from the ship's perspective, which was clearly even earlier on in the VFX department. So this is all we have in terms of this whole scripting gameplay, but we keep seeing them talk about it in VFX, and it's sounding like it's in a good place for 3.18. So I think it's on track. Finally, optimizations were made to planetary ground storm effects, which had caused performance issues for some players due to a change in the planetary data that determines how the effects spawn. So this is a bug that's really annoying. I get it a lot. I know a lot of people who get it. And this is one of those bugs that I would point those people to who are like, why aren't they fixing bugs? This is a huge bug that affects a lot of people. I really do hope that this helps with performance in game, but when it gets really dusty, it can sometimes lower your frames a lot. If they're fixing that, that's good stuff. And I think it's worth noting. When do I think we'll get the helmet and visor update? Probably not till next year. I would love to see it in our end of year update this year, but I'm not hopeful. I haven't even seen it on the progress tracker, so I don't know where that would be. Would be great to get like a cutscene when new players join in their city, a talking tutorial or something. My friends immediately hated the just start in the bed. I'm sure something in the works though. I think the game will always be you start out and you have the choice of getting into the tutorial or not. it's definitely going to be a game where this game's going to piss people off if they're looking for a lot of help. While it is an alpha and a lot of tutorials and stuff are lacking, I do think that Star Citizen will always be a slightly harder game to pick up than others. And those kinds of details will grind a lot of people's gears. But yeah, I think they're working on tutorial type missions for people. They've talked a lot about the new player experience. A tutorial is definitely in the works, likely in more kind of mission-based ways, but something's going on. For you, the dream in Star Citizen will be to have a planet with a city where we could walk around and shop, and next to it there would be a big space with only villas and beautiful houses like Beverly Hills. I'm sure we'll get something like that. Probably Castle might have something like that. How about ropes with launch guns and helper drones? Ropes? Like a grapple kind of gun? Well, so this is the monthly report for June. Some pretty key highlights here. Definitely engineering gameplay is a huge one to finally be seeing. We got a little bit more talk of the new player experience stuff, not explicitly, but definitely some hints at it. Talk about Lorville and the fact that it is bigger and the scaling is going up. That's exciting. Narrative is getting a little more involved. We're getting a new archetype for missions. What else was there? What else was there? What did I miss? The news about 4.0 updates coming every month is pretty nice. No, yeah, it was a decent update. It definitely was not as good as some of the other ones this year. We've had some crazy updates this year, but this was still a solid one, and they all really have been solid. Now that we're starting to get into this period where all the teams are collaborating and working in tandem, the tools are starting to finish up, so there's more tangible stuff going on, like locations and different things like that. These are starting to get regularly interesting, and I like that. It used to be kind of hit or miss. You'd have a monthly report that was good, you'd have one that you could have literally skipped. Now, every single one of them have some pretty good info in them. Love it like that. Keep it hard so that you feel really accomplished and we finally do it. Yeah, I like that stuff. Let me real quick connect my keyboard to the other computer so I can use it. All right, Basmati, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate you all subbing to the channel. So what do you all think? What do you think of the report this year? This month. Because I liked it, but it felt a little bit emptier. I know I was just saying every monthly report has things that are interesting, but this one really got me because we still aren't getting very much info about the cargo refactor, and that's starting to get to me a little bit. I mean, I'm always prophesizing, or not prophesizing. I don't know, I'm shouting from the rooftops that like the monthly report is the best way to know what they're working on, and always saying that, oh yeah, if they don't talk about it in the monthly report, then it's probably not doing well. Well, they're not talking about the cargo refactor, and they're also talking about other segments of the game, specifically ones that are coming in 3.18 that are waiting for aspects of the cargo refactor. And that makes me a little nervous. Not gonna lie. I still think that the cargo refactor is coming in 3.18, but I also think it is a little bit weird that they haven't started talking about it more. depends on what you expect from the refactor. I'm not talking about my expectations per se. I'm just saying that they are not saying anything. So one good thing that would help with the whole expectations of the refactor is if they would say that stuff in the monthly report. They've said it a couple times. I think the EUPU team has talked a little bit about it. But if they could give us any little bit of information about what exactly is going on and what they're working on specifically when it comes to the refactor, that'd be great. I really did think that this month or last month they would start to talk about that. Next month is August. So we'll be getting the July report, but after July we have August, September, and October, 3 months, and then we get that patch. Yeah, Q&A on it would be good probably. Don't really understand it, right? And again, that comes from the messaging. It's hard to set your expectations when they haven't really explicitly said what it's going to require, despite it being such a big feature that they've been talking about. Feel this was a good complimentary report to have to the headliner features, hearing about smaller features with potentially big impact on how the game plays. Yeah, these are great reports for that kind of stuff. If the refactor is just when you buy commodities, you can interact with them in the cargo bay, it might already be done and really just waiting for PES. But that's what I'm saying. They're saying in these monthly reports, things like, where is it? Things like here, they're telling us that hull scraping is being held back because of the cargo refactor. But what about the cargo refactor is holding it back? Because like you said, if it's just that you can interact with the cargo bay, that's not a big deal. Why would that impact salvage? Is it more that, I mean, yeah, I guess it is just interacting with the cargo, but I'd still really like if they had an update for that. Because like I said, they're saying that it's holding other things back, but they're not really talking about it for us. Let me think, what was I just about to... I was just about to look something up. Darn it. Same for salvage. Oh no, they've been talking about salvage. I'm completely confident in salvage. We've been getting updates on salvage every monthly report. So I do think that salvage is pretty much locked in for 3.18. Cargo will be in 3.18, but right with 3.17.2, they are trying to get a jump on the next patch. Cargo, another can of Space Worm Gym. Yeah, but a lot of this stuff is beyond 3.17.2 stuff. Like, they're talking about other 3.18 features and specifically not talking about the cargo refactor. I think they mentioned it maybe twice. Once here for hull scraping. Nope. The other 2 times weren't ship art. So I don't know. I don't know. Economy, the quantum economy system. Yeah, there wasn't even a systemic tools team section in this report, which is usually where economy stuff is talked about. Let's look up Star Citizen May monthly report. I like how it's just like, you visited this page many times. It doesn't even say a number anymore. Would I say this is the year for SC? Absolutely not. No. Yeah, the cargo refactor is them introducing physicalized cargo and items. That's essentially what it is. But again, they're not talking at all about the progress of it, which is a little bit weird. And if we go to the progress tracker and actually see that one of the things that is expected with the cargo refactor, one of the things expected with the cargo refactor are timers, but you can see here that the timers are actually set on a different task. Now, I think this would be included in the update since it's ending about the same time, but this task is what says this adds loading timers, which will need to be factored in when planning cargo runs. So That's not even included in the cargo refactor. The cargo refactor itself is saying it allows both found and purchased cargo to be picked up, moved around, and placed into the cargo grid of a ship. I've got an example of this somewhere around these parts. I always see this clip. I never remember where it is. Is it in features? Whoa. Here we go. So this is kind of what the idea of the cargo refactor is. You got boxes that you can set down into the ship's cargo bay. You can also blow the ship up and all the boxes will come out, and then you'll be able to salvage and collect them. Now, this is essentially the cargo refactor in one page. But again, there's only so much information we could get from this. This isn't even new. This is very old footage from old testing phases. As far as progress on it is going, as far as how they feel about the milestones that they've met, we don't really know much. Cargo refactor is in the test flight and they are holding their breath waiting for a successful landing before mentioning anything. I don't think that's a good enough excuse. I don't think that they should be holding information back from the monthly report just because something might not be working. I think the monthly report is the only way that we know anything about what they're working on. The progress tracker doesn't give us context. The release view doesn't give us context. Inside Star Citizen is gone for like a third of each quarter and is also only 8 minutes long. Monthly report is really kind of a lifeline for this kind of stuff, and I think we probably should have been getting more info by now. You open 23 as SC's year. There's a lot of things that seem to be completing end of year 22. I think we're stepping into a few years for SC. Important to note that the loading timers is probably just delayed magically spawning cargo and not physically loading of cargo. Yes, definitely. Just an update to the shopping kiosks, not to AI. Allows does not mean it will be required. Cargo will very likely still spawn into cargo holds when purchased. They will just be physicalized. Yeah, I'm not insinuating. If I gave the impression that this meant that all cargo was going to be physically loaded, it's not what I'm saying. This is mainly about the physicalization of the cargo itself. You can put stuff in there. It's not saying that you must, and not necessarily. The timers, again, are commodity kiosk timers. They're not AI timers or anything like that. What's up, Core? How you doing? You just like to know more about it before making a judgment on it. It's definitely not a good sign. Yeah, I just want to know more. I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure it's being run in their own tests and stuff, but it's weird that we're hearing about engineering gameplay, which is quarters away, life support, salvage gameplay, visor reworks, star map reworks, all this stuff that's pretty far away, definitely further than the cargo refactor, but we haven't heard a blip about the cargo refactor the entire year. Not saying they're not doing it, just saying I'd like to know more. Are the bots waiting until you start a game, or do they keep coming whenever you try and play? Well, we mostly got through this. Are there any other... Does anybody have any questions about any features? Like things you want to see or hear about before we wrap up? Otherwise, this is all going to be summarized in a much more fun to see video for you all, probably this Saturday if things go well. Maybe Sunday. Might be a little bit late this week. And besides that, a couple more streams coming up this week. Friday will probably happen. I think I might do some Kerbal Space program on Friday, but we'll see. We'll see. People like Star Citizen. And then Saturday, like I said, I'll be joined by one of the developers working on the Gen 12 system, and we'll just be hopping in game and doing some missions and playing around a little bit. Nothing too crazy, some casual play. and maybe slip a question here or a question or two in here and there for Gen 12 to see what's going on. But that's mostly the rest of the week. It's pretty simple week. I think I'm going to release another podcast clip coming up here soon, but besides that, I got to figure out what's going on with this stream. A big thanks, though, to everybody who has supported today. Anno, thank you so much for dropping the links for support. Patreon being the best place. It means a lot. This is a family business. Me and my wife both do Space Tomato Gaming together full time. It's the only money we make, so every dollar that comes in through YouTube or Patreon or wherever else helps us a lot. Buy groceries, buy rent, travel back and forth, all that jazz. So thank you all for all of your help with that. And thank you especially today. Daniel really came through, but also everybody who's just supported, became a YouTube channel member, or dropped a super chat. YouTube channel members actually do get to, just a little plug here. YouTube channel members actually get exclusive videos every month. What the heck? There we go. And for all of you who may be a member, if you don't know where that is, just go to my front page here, scroll down right here to the second row of videos, and these are all going to be exclusive to you. So I generally do these as longer, more high quality, more in-depth dives into the development of the game, some more opinion-based stuff. I think they're more interesting videos, but if you are a member, make sure to check out this playlist. They're cool videos, and I made them for you, so please watch them. Thank you. Randier, thank you for the 5 super chat. I'm gonna download some more bandwidth. I'm gonna get some more stickers for the computer case, and hopefully a couple more RGB lights. What was the thing about engineering they mentioned? Oh, glad you asked. They showed us a screen of the engineering segment, rather life support. You can see engineering down here, and just mentioned that it's getting some work done. Things are going well with it. It really seems to be coming together. They also mentioned that QA is testing the room system. The room system is super crucial. Is super crucial for the engineering system to be working. So that's very good. And it's great to see those kinds of things coming together at the same time. Marcus, yo, thank you for the tomatoes in the super chat. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that support. It means a lot. Another great stream. It's gone 3 a.m. Got to get some shut-eye. I'll try to tune in on Friday. I'll catch you later, Crouch. Thanks for coming through. Hope you have a good week, buddy. You like that the engineering screen has a gravity tab? Yeah, we get to control the gravity on our ships. We can vent our ships of oxygen. We can shut down the power and turn off the lights. We can turn off the gravity. It's like these spaceships are going to be like fully functional buildings with thrusters on them, and you'll be in control, and it's really cool. As we see, patch 3.17.2 is showing us that they are actually all in on server meshing. Let's give them the space to resolve the server issues. It's a lot of pressure for sure. It is. Imagine having more things to do in a ship as support other than turreting. Imagine a fully functional spaceship. Can we kill players with it? With gravity? Maybe. Because fun little feature. They did build in... here we go. Atmospheric damage. So you can see here that as the player moves further and further into the atmospheric gradient, down there on the left side, you'll start to see their health start going down. Their vision starts to blur. And they start to have trouble, like their health is going down a lot. And the same thing happens for ships. As you fly across a pressure gradient, your ship starts to take damage based on that pressure. So like, maybe we could turn the gravity up on our ship and actually hurt people. I don't know. But they're working on it, of course, because it's Star Citizen. Just paying it forward. Well, Marcus, you have no idea how much it helps. Seriously. You pay that forward, you put it back in and make more good stuff. Thank you so much for helping us fund it. Gonna do a 24-hour stream when 3.17.2 drops. Good luck to you. That's gonna be painful. Where are you doing that, Twitch or YouTube? All right, folks. Well, I think we're just about done here. I would like to thank everybody for coming through and checking out the stream. Unfortunately, Twitch didn't work today, and I've got to figure out why that is. And hopefully we can get it back up on Friday, because it's a very important part of our everything. I appreciate everybody who stuck through all of the lag and the problems of this stream. I know it feels like I'm running an IT stream more than a Star Citizen stream, but I'm working on it, and hopefully by the end of this week we'll be doing a lot better. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of the monthly report in June. If you like this kind of stuff, development updates, just learning more about the game in general, I try to go as in depth as I can in my videos while keeping them short. That's why I make the exclusive videos, to go a little bit more in depth. But please subscribe. I stream this every week, and I do these quarter updates every month. I'm also trying to release blog posts about this and some extra stuff on my second channel. So consider subscribing, hang around, say what's up, and I will see you guys on those videos. Kemi said the current state of the game has hit the development ceiling now. Only way to go forward even with 3.17.2 is bring the servers into the gameplay mechanics. Grumpy, you should do a stream with Linus. I'd love to if they'd have me on a stream. That'd be crazy. That'd be awesome. Hope everything goes smoothly. I think we'll get it figured out. 07s, folks. Hopefully they get server meshing in and improve that ceiling, Kemi. But I'll catch y'all later. Have a great one. Thanks again for hanging around, and may your 30Ks be rare. I gotta work on that one. Bye, guys.